Yeah, did you like that?
I do. I love that actually.
It took me ages to figure that one out, but yeah, we've gone live. Hello everyone. Thanks for thanks for jumping in and everything. So I hope you like the new little layout that I've done. I thought this would be a nice, simpler thing for people to watch and basically see me make a twat of myself. You know, the norm, really. So yeah. So let's go.
Must be
So
a day ending in Y.
yeah, pretty much. To be honest, it's just one of those things. Unfortunately, they go, so who's coming? Then anyone going to make a twat of themselves? Steve's there. Yes, there
Well,
are.
Steve, well.
So how are you doing, Scott? Anyway, you having a good one?
I'm having a great one today. I promised not to talk about the weather, but I'm a liar. It's a gorgeous day here in Montreal. It's a warm fall day. The leaves are just changing, and it's one of the things I love most about living in this part of the world is the sort of like the beautiful riot of color in the fall. And yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day today.
Yeah. Well, Canada's a beautiful country anyway, so
Thanks.
it's better than than what we've got here at the moment. I look out my window and it's like, it's horrible out there.
Yeah,
So
no bueno.
yeah, but thankfully the my ass hat of a neighbour has stopped trimming his hedge, so there's no motor sounds going on at the moment. So that's good.
I see. I see.
So,
Yeah, isn't it funny how that, like, mowing lawns, trimming hedges, isn't it funny how it's always at the worst time and also takes forever, like twice as long as it should?
yeah, pretty much. But it's always a dickhead as well. I find. It's yeah,
Oh boy.
to put it bluntly anyway. So I will say that my streams are all marked up as mature. So hopefully there's no kids watching because they're well, if there are, then they're going back to mum and dad with some very choice words. So, mummy, what's a dickhead? That sort of
Oh,
thing. So, oh dear.
well, this is your father. Just kidding.
Yeah, you sound fine. It's
Good.
yeah. If chat are really good for if there's any audio issues or anything like that, then they're very good at quickly popping it, uh,
I've had a
chucking
few
a
little
message our way. So
bits and bobs with my mic lately, so just checking.
yeah,
That's all.
yeah. So reason we're all here is we're here to there you go. They're all good. Sounds good. Like a fine cheddar.
Oh.
Very
Mm.
nice. I like that. I like that one. I remember that.
Ah!
Sadly, Steve's mic is working fine as usual. I'm sorry, Matt. I do apologise, my friend. So yeah, so we're here to chat about the LARPs, the series, a series that I've been pushing everybody to go and watch because I love it. I really, really do love it. So we've got the wonderful Scott with us, and we're just gonna nerd out about it, really, basically. So,
Down.
so how did you get involved in that series then? How was it all brought to your attention?
That's a great question. As if I remember. No, no, it's been many a year now, but well, I'm as a lot of the lead cast are, we're all relatively close friends and all attended the same school. We all attended Concordia University here in Montreal. Some of us in performance, some of us in photography, film, etc.
Yeah,
Um, and it was around. I mean, as you've probably heard from John and Julian already, like they have a whole backstory as to what was going on behind the scenes
yes, yeah,
with the creation of the show. But I got involved because they were at a point where they had written an episode. I mean, episode zero, which is even half the length of a season one episode, which are
yeah,
half the length of the. But they had written, or episode zero had been written as audition material,
mm,
and they were, putting the call out to some select performers that they knew would be able to engage with the material and enjoy it, and hopefully bring the characters to life.
yeah.
So, yeah, it was a spring or a summer. I think it was a summer morning, and I did an audition in someone's kitchen. Um, it was Ben's kitchen at the time, maybe, and maybe Julian's. I can't remember. Uh, yeah, it's funny. I when the notices went out, right? the characters were the 5 leads
Yeah.
who you see in season 1, and I was pretty dead set on auditioning for Arthur/Noctis.
Oh, right,
Uh,
okay.
I know, and I think it's I always lead with that because people go, why?
Well, yeah, I could see their point of view because I mean, just after speaking to you for 20 minutes or so, it's just like I can't. That role's too serious for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being known as a joke. It's no, no.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
my somewhat more limited role playing experience and my very limited like live action role playing experience up to that point. I love to sort of like bury myself relatively deep into the character that I'm playing, and I often gravitate towards roguish sneak thief types when I'm playing sort of like digital RPGs as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just thought I thought it was a good fit, but at the audition, it did my scenes for Arthur. I got some direction. They were like, okay, do you mind reading for Will? You know what I mean? They were like, could you just maybe just do one for us? Uh, and I mean, I was sold immediately. Like
Mm.
it's a great role. It's very funny, and despite the fact that he is the character that is the well, there's no difference between him in and out of character
Yeah.
at the
No.
beginning.
Yeah.
I was really drawn to him. He's a weirdo, and that's a good time.
He's great. He's a fantastic character, and I was uh, I was talking to some people last night, talking to some friends, like my other half and other people last night about it all, and they were telling me like, "What's your?" And I said, "Oh, this is my favourite sort of scene in it," and no, I just realised no, it was actually on my stream yesterday, and I brought it up, and
Oh,
I turned round to them all and said, it was this one scene that made me I just couldn't stop laughing. It was great, and it was the first scene where Evan they're doing the story with Noctis and stuff like that. He's holding the crystal, and he's like, "Oh, I was doing this." And it's like, "Oh, is his mind being taken over?" And it's like, and you come running along, you're like, "Ooh, are we fucking up Noctis?" It's just like that, and it's like, "I shoot him in the dick," and I'm just like, "Oh my god!" That it's just that one scene. It was so good.
John, like, I mean, I can't overhype my fellow performers, my director, and my writer enough. Like on the show, just everyone's so great, and
Yeah,
I love John's mentality. I mean, sorry, I don't want to speak on his behalf, but it feels to me like in that episode 0, the goal is okay. We got to get to know him like as quickly as possible. This one's the guy who's
yeah,
in it to win it. This is the person who really wants to play the character. This is the guy who evaluates things in terms of am I fucking someone up or am I not fucking someone up? Like that's Will evaluating the scene. He's
yes.
like, oh, is this a talky scene or is this a fighty scene? Like that. That's all he knows.
Oh, it's
You know
so.
what I mean?
It was great. It was really,
I
really
love it.
good. And it just, I think that was the first thing that, because I watched that and I was just like, don't know, because I saw a GIF. That was what made me think, oh, what the hell is this? And it was just so,
Oh, of
and
course.
it was someone running along. I think it was actually John going across the road, and then you shoot him in the balls, and he just went down, and I was just like, yeah, pod shot. It's a pod shot straight away. And it was just like, oh, what is this? And then I did a bit of digging and I found it all, and then yeah, just couldn't. Then was just that was it. And then that line, I was just like, yeah, I'm hooked. Because I mean, people in that, like Abby said, she's a couple of episodes left on season 2.
Mhm.
Um, Admiral Baz, I watched it all in one day straight, and I binge watched it in a day. Yeah,
I
this is great.
I'm not gonna. It is great, and thank you all. I not. This is not a spoiler. I just want to strongly encourage Abby to watch to the end, because season 2, episode 10, you'll notice it's a different length from the other episodes,
Yeah,
and you'll also notice it's amazing.
it's so
If
good.
I may say.
Well, we were obviously with Liz and John. We were chatting about it all, and that episode was yes, yeah, right in the feels. I think is the best way to describe it. And
Um,
yeah, and it hits home because at LARP and stuff like that, you actually get you really get involved with your own characters and the things that
Yeah.
happen to you and stuff. So you are able to then, so yeah, you get that character sort of bleed. So I know people who have played characters um, for like 10 years or so, and then all of a sudden their character's been killed off and stuff like that, and people are
Yeah.
walking off and having like proper like crying like a baby sort of moments and stuff like that. So it's fantastic to see. So that episode was a yeah big hit for me. I really
There's
enjoyed it.
a really cool kind of layer to like for me as someone who makes their living acting, usually in short bursts of like some voice work or some whatever, maybe a day on set for something. You inhabit something just for a second and then it's gone, and that's my life. It's just like, okay, I have to give this 110%, but just for a couple of hours and then it's gone.
Yeah.
um, there's something really exciting about being able to play somebody who is that invested in their character, and like as someone who also role plays, although I mostly am a tabletop role player, but
Yeah.
like I've also given so much to some of my tabletop characters that I mean, we just finished a 3-year changeling campaign just like a few weeks ago because we just started a new
Mm.
game recently. Like, it's you're right. There's some yeah, it can be it's a really moving experience to sort of have something be a part of your life so long and then to have it leave, whether that's taken away or not. Hopefully you don't
Yeah.
feel cheated by it, but
No, no, it was great. It was a really good episode, and
mm,
everything about it was really good. And I think it was a nice. I think for Will as a character as well, it was a nice arc for him. He's gone from, yeah, I'm just here, and I'm just here. I'm here to fuck shit up, and yeah, I'm just here.
wow.
And then right at the end of it, so it's really obvious that okay, yeah, he's sold now. He is a larper. He does care, and all of this sort of stuff. And it was really nice. So it was a nice moment. It was everything about it was good. So, but I think Abby watched the chat with Liz and John as well. So I think she's very
Okay,
aware of what's happened there. So
cool.
that's fine. So how did you? I mean, at the end of it all, when season two finished, and obviously season three hadn't been, well, it's probably been chatted about, but
Oh
nothing
yeah.
had really gone on with it. So, I mean, how did you find that you were like, oh, when's it happening? When's it happening? When's it happening? Then it just like got quieter and quieter because it seems to have gone for a massive lull, and now it's really come back again. What,
Yeah,
years later?
well, certainly, in the last couple of months, it's been very strange
Mm.
to dive back into something that was such a big part of my life, but what feels like a long time ago. Obviously,
Yeah.
this year in particular feels like 1,000, and then it's like more on top of that as well. But yeah, um, I think again, as Liz and John probably mentioned, and I don't want to retread too much of their ground, but we had a watch party for I it might have just been the finale of season two, but I think it was the last few episodes.
Mm.
I think anyway, I might be wrong, but we had a watch party with so many members of the Montreal like acting and filmmaking communities, which and LARPing communities, of course, were there as well, and which was so exciting. And it was such a crescendo that then we were able to. What was really cool is like over that next, I'd say, 12 months or so, we did a lot of um, conventions, events, sort of like popping in on various things and chatting about the show, the process of making the show, what we hoped to do next, etc. So actually, that wave really carried for a long time.
Mm.
I discovered in that year following how much I love hosting live events. I moderated a lot of the like Q&As and
Yeah.
panels that we did at conventions. Um, I guess because I like talking. I don't know. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
um, it, it has been strange to sort of feel it kind of leaving a little bit, but
Mm.
I don't know. This might be an unpopular opinion for some people, but like I know in life things come, things go, things start and things end, and I kind of just figured like, well, we made something really great and it's done, it's out there in the world, and now there's possibility of going back to it. So cool, so exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with doing all of that sort of stuff, it's nice to relive it, because I remember watching The Guild, the Felicia
Yep.
Day series as well, and I loved that. That was really really
Oh,
good
yeah.
as well. So it's nice to have this sort of thing as well, which is like the carry on from it. Big fan of talking.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's Phil H001. That's Helen. That's my other half. So she puts up with me chatting a lot of shit, basically.
Big fan of talking.
Big fan of talking. Yeah, you can never get me to shut up, basically. So, but yeah, I liked, because I did. Last year I was asked to do some like Comic Con, the big MCM Comic Con in London, and that. So I was doing LARP panels and talking about it all and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
awesome.
yeah, so I get a lot of people coming up to me and stuff like that, and it's a bizarre one, because you do these things, we only do it. Our big LARP here is called Empire. We've got 3,000 players, and it's a big thing, but we only do it 4 times a year. So then coming onto streams to talk about it all, it's great,
Hmm.
but it's like it's yeah, keeping that hype going it can be a
Mm.
bit difficult. But these streams are helping. But I think with the LARP series, having so many people who loved it. Shut up, Helen. I secretly hate LARPing. What the fuck, woman? How dare you?
No.
That's right.
Whoa.
She'll beat me later. It's all right.
Oh,
Um,
good. Wait, hang on.
pretty much, yeah. Yeah. So having so many people, so many fans and stuff like that. I mean, do you still get, like, when you're out and about and stuff like that? Do you get people coming up to you going, "Weren't you? Were you Will in that? Does that
Yeah,
ever
not
happen?"
not so much these days.
No.
Not so much. Just because it's out of the like the zeitgeist a little bit. Well, I mean, there was a time between like say 2013 and 2016 or so
Mm.
where, um, because we were posting about it a lot and because we were sort of crowdfunding for season two and this and that and
Yeah.
the other thing was getting shared a lot. So more people outside of um, the LARPing community, but like also our kind of personal communities,
Yeah.
more people would be aware of it.
Yeah.
Um, I do have so many great memories of, and it's a bit of a joke around these parts actually, because whenever we go to conventions,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, it's me. People are like, "Hey, Will!" Like they'll see me from the back of my head. They're like, "That's Will from LARP." Like, people look at Liz and they're like, "Who are you?" It's not all the time. I shouldn't say that. I think it's because she
Mm.
normally has got the helmet and stuff.
Yes.
What I like to think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, strange.
It must feel weird. I mean, I had not on that sort of level. It's because as we were chatting about like Hat Films, and there's a channel called Tabletop Weekly as well. They did a series on YouTube called Three Men Go LARPing, and it was a big hit, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views and stuff like that. Loads of people watched it, and I was getting actually it's getting people come up to me in the. She's not even in the chair behind you, mate.
I know. Creepy, right?
It is, yeah. You,
Hey, that's
you,
me.
you got your own personal stalker.
Wrong way of describing our relationship. Sure,
Yeah,
the two-way stalking.
two-way stalking. Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe any relationship, I think.
Hang on a second. Wait a minute.
it's it's coming from inside the house. Oh, is she downstairs? Is she?
Well, if we had it downstairs, that's where she would be. Yes, that is correct.
Excellent stuff.
We live in an apartment, so it's just not. But anyway, I
All
mean,
right,
we
okay.
could make it downstairs. I could speak to the neighbors and maybe
Just kick
they'd
them
lend
out.
us their place.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, get to do that in a video, just to say, oh yeah, she's currently downstairs. I think actually, yeah, the neighbours have gone out for the day. They don't know we're there, but we have her downstairs at
Oh,
the moment.
I like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, because I was getting people coming up to me and saying, "Oh, are you this character?" Because they tell stories about characters and stuff like that, and it's just like, oh, yeah, yeah, it's being recognised for doing some really, really dumb shit in a field, basically. It's great fun. It's yes, but you get so many stories from it. So it's like you must have lots of stories from filming and stuff like that as well.
Oh yeah.
So like,
Oh yeah.
what's your fondest memory from filming then?
Okay, so embarrassingly, you would think that I would have prepared this answer because like that's a it's a
Mm.
good question to ask and one that I probably should be prepared to answer. My whoa, my fondest memory from filming. I mean, okay, so many I guess is the first answer. I'm one of those weirdos who it's not like I thrive on pain and suffering or anything like that. Nothing like that, Steve. Nothing
Right,
like that. No, okay.
right,
But I do have a very clear recollection of filming season one, episode five, which is, I mean, we're going way back here, out of season two even.
yeah,
Um, we're fighting slash dealing with the golem. When it was like John wearing
yes,
big, big
yeah.
extended arm thing. Ridiculous. We shot that in somebody's basement, and
Yeah.
it is this. It's hard to describe how small it actually is when you have
Mm,
8 people in a room that's like meant for not that many people.
yeah.
Um, Also, everybody was either ill or under the weather or at the end of their rope or like we shot season one over a period of I'm gonna say 10 days, but I think it might be 12 or 14 actually.
Oh,
But
okay.
like very long days and
Yeah.
intense days. And it was we were getting to the end of our rope, and I don't know, I just have wonderful recollections of all of us kind of crammed in this hot basement, and we do a take, and I'd kind of duck down next to Charlotte, and I'd go, "That was a good one," and she goes, "Shut up." Like, just get it out. Like, come on. Like, I want to go home.
So my only
um,
experience of filming was I did a live action. Everyone in the Hefty fan, the community, they're sick of me talking about it. I did a live action commercial for a computer game that's coming out next year. It's like a medieval Grand Theft Auto, essentially.
awesome.
So, I was cast as a corpse collector. So I was typecast, really,
Okay.
and and they had this huge cart made of steel, and it was I had to I don't know it must have weighed like 100 kgs, 100 kilograms. It was big,
Yikes.
it was heavy, and the village that we were in, the reenactment village that we were in, they had it was on a nice gradient, so they had me pushing this thing up and down this road all day. It was great fun to start off with. By the end of it, I'm like, I can't,
Yikes.
I can't feel my arms any. I mean, I'm not a small guy. I'm not a weak guy. I am, so it was all right. It was a nice workout for like the first 4 hours, but the final like 3 4 hours, oh, oh yeah, I felt it at the end of that day. Really, really did. So I can't imagine doing something like that for like was it 12 days. That's for me. That's a lot of hard work. I mean, considering when I was like 15, I was like, I want to be an actor and all of this sort of stuff, and then I went off and work, and then yeah, joined the military. It was a really bizarre. It was the natural progression of things.
Sure.
So, so I've got a lot of time and a lot more respect for actors who do and people who do this sort of stuff because it must be hard work.
I mean, for what it's worth, like a LARPing bow is a lot less than 100 kilograms, just like,
Yeah,
right? So I think there's that aspect of it as well.
yeah.
I'm not lugging, X 100 pounds around, or whatever. It's,
It was great fun, but
oh,
the poundage on bows as well. So constantly having to do that. I mean, we do it's like a 3 hour battle essentially with 1,000 people in it. So the
wow.
archers there with their like 30-pound bows and that firing
I
that
can
off
imagine.
all the time, they come out of it and there's like their arms are tired.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. No, it's
So and the bruises on their forearms as well are impressive, to say the least. They are really
I,
really good. So, um, because when I was chatting to Liz and John, they were saying that a lot of when they talk to people about the LARP series, they're always like, "Oh, let's chat about LARP. Let's talk about LARP." And I think it was. I hope it was a relief for them because I didn't really ask about LARP at all. I was more interested in finding out about the series and that. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, because there's so many different ways to like live action role playing. I think of course, I think most people have in their mind something like Empire, which is awesome, or the Canadian equivalent, which is going to escape me for now. But anyway, there's like a large
yeah,
kind of medieval fantasy LARP outside of Toronto in the forest, and
mm,
we went and sent some people. Why don't I remember? Oh no. Anyway,
yeah, I can't remember.
here, no. Although that's a better example, Ava. Thank you. That's actually much closer to where I live. Bicoline is in Quebec.
Yeah,
But because there's so many different ways to like live action role play and different scales and different sort of ways of maybe you play weekly but you interact between sessions online somehow, or
mm,
maybe it's like you said, like once per quarter or seasonally,
yeah,
4 times a year. uh, there's so much variety. I feel like it's hard for me to kind of talk about the subject with any expertise, really. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. LARP's a weird one. You do it once and yeah, you're fine. You just throw yourself into it face
Yeah,
first and
just go
you're
for it.
fine and it's a laugh. So because I talked to a lot to John about like the writing and how he did it because John's LARPed I believe more than most people that
Yeah,
are involved in that.
that is
So
true.
so because for you it was tabletop. So what was your very first tabletop game then? Tabletop role playing game.
I grew up like purchasing and reading TTRPG books, both like the player guides and the
Mm.
GM guides, with the intention of one day playing with people. And I didn't, and I just for so long I just had these books, and I was like, oh, I love these worlds. I'd build
Mm.
this character, I'd build that. Imagination runs wild here. Um, I think my very first game that I can remember was, I'm going to say, D&D second, or probably second,
Mm.
but I have very few recollections. My first game that I remember playing and enjoying was a game of Exalted Second Edition, run by none
Okay.
other than John Barrell, um,
Excellent.
which eventually kind of foundered, but like we found our way back to it. Our first streamed role playing game was Exalted Third Edition,
Mm.
uh, which we played for, I don't know, 50 odd episodes or so. And it was such a great time. Like, really, because that's a larger than life system, right? It's
Yeah.
sort of Eastern fantasy inspired universe where you play essentially demigods. Like, you have these wild, crazy powers and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Liz. Underworld Mark. Yeah, thanks.
I didn't want to say anything, but yeah. Yeah, you're in trouble. uh,
Um, but I did have an opportunity to like, this is kind of what I mean. Again, my understanding of LARPing, like before doing the show, and before kind of like being able to look into the community a little bit. Oh, hey, John.
mm,
58 episodes. Thank you.
58. Excellent.
Ridiculous. All right. Everyone's just gonna correct my. No, it's good. Um, Before I was able to sort of like get a sense of the community and like start
Yeah.
looking into it, my impression of LARPing was again something that would, I imagine, be like Bicolin or Empire, large scale medieval fantasy
Mm,
games that take place over a series of, say, days.
yeah.
But actually, for a couple of years, I played on and off in a live action role playing game of Changeling: The Dreaming, which is sort of an urban fantasy, or like a modern fantasy
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
setting. We played in someone's home, and again, like a really cool experience translating what I had on my page for my character, like into interacting with other people. It was
Mm.
really, really cool.
Yeah. I've never been a D&D fan myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, D&D players, they're a bunch of fucking nerds. Yeah, that's pretty much it for
Hmm.
D&D for me. I grew up with Vampire the Masquerade. So
Ah,
yeah, Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf the Apocalypse. So it was yeah, I'm getting
so
a lot of hate from chat now. D&D is my
oh, here it
life.
comes. But Changeling is in the world of darkness as
Yes.
well, along with vampire and werewolf, right? So I
Yeah.
certainly also like got into it in that direction.
Yeah, so that I was 16 when I did that. So that was a long time ago for me, and it was really really good fun to do. And oh my god, I'm getting LARP is D&D but in person. I mean, D&D
I
is
think we
kind of
can
my job.
debate the finer points of that
Yeah.
if we wanted to.
Well, yes, to an extent, but I've tried playing D&D a few times, and I've never got into it. I'm not. I, this is why I prefer the world of darkness. So
Mm,
vampire, werewolf, and stuff. This world, I am doing that. So I have to admit, I've just started playing a game called. Well, you've seen the Aliens films and stuff like that. So I've now got the Alien tabletop game,
oh,
and I was given a PDF version as well, and I'll send that over to John to have a look at as well. So, but I've played that game. Running a campaign of that at the moment, and that is a great fun game to play. That is brutal to say the
well,
least.
is it in the theme? Like, is it in the vein of survival horror, like the
Yep.
films?
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Yep. It's
So cool.
you are literally you make up your character so you could be like the officer, so like you could be like Hicks or Apone, people like that, or you could be the colonial marines, so Vasquez, that sort of grunt side of it, or you can be the scientists, the technicians,
Right.
the engineers. You can be whatever you want, but it's the combat system is so simple. It's amazing.
Oh,
So you are literally the characters will do all their roles to do everything that they're doing to try to escape, survive, trap the thing or anything like that. The alien will literally do something when the player fails. So when the player fails, the alien rolls a d6 and then it just says that's what you do.
okay.
And that's it. And uh, yeah, 4 of the 6 are death, basically. And that's it.
No.
And that's it. It is really good. So Helen was playing in one, and it's either like really bad injury or death. That's
Like,
There's no middle ground there at all. It's one extreme or the other. It's great. Oh,
I
Matt's got a question for you. So Biff and Lance spend a lot of time together in the episodes. Their chemistry was brilliant. Do you believe all of his monologues were in character? That they were tales of his LARP characters rather than him in reality?
Thank you for the question. And first of all, I just want to like huge shout out to Mark Camacho. Mark Camacho is probably one of our our most favorite actors. Also, probably one of our most famous actors who
Yeah.
agreed to have a role. Actually, who was very excited about having a role. This is the guy who used to live in old this old kind of not ramshackle house. It's not ramshackle at all, but like this really quirky, strange place. And he'd be like, "Have you seen my Harry Potter room?" And he'd like open his door, and there's like Harry Potter memorabilia every. It's just wild. This guy is a huge nerd, and we love him for it.
Mm.
Um, I believe, and you'd have to ask Lance, but you'd have to keep at least 10 feet away from Lance because of the reach when you ask him this. But I believe that like those monologues and so on are um, Lance sort of acting out or acting out. It's Lance reliving his past. Like we don't get to hear too much about what Lance did before he
No.
became a cafe owner.
No.
We get to hear a little bit about it, but not too much. But I get the sense that a lot of really traumatizing, horrible stuff happened to and with him
Mm.
in his previous life. And in those moments, because it's flooding over him, all he can really do is just talk it out.
Yeah.
Um, I love the writing of those, though. It's like so. I don't know. It's just so heightened realistic, like heightened realism. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
quite realistic. We all kind of look at him like, "What the hell's going on over here?"
Mm.
But he makes it feel real. You know?
He's fantastic. He is so good. It's
Yeah,
his outbursts whenever it's just like anytime he said anything and got involved, it was just like, okay, okay. I actually have friends like that who come out and they tell stories
that's great.
like that, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna go this way now. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm out of here.
Pretend this didn't happen, and there you go.
Pretty
I
much.
have lots of fond memories of like doing some of those scenes opposite Mark, and specifically the interview in season 2, episode 1. Uh, I mean, it's this way in the series as well, but we filmed it in this
Mm,
incredibly uh, stylized, sort of close-up interrogation room feel,
mm.
which is just kind of like black curtains and masking with like a very harsh kind of overhead light, and then when it cuts out wide, we are in the cafe, so it's like a strange stylized world between them. We filmed that quite early in the morning,
Mm.
so I'm just going to chalk up my not laughing at and with Mark up to like the fact that I wasn't fully awake yet.
Yeah.
Just gonna chalk it up to that. You know?
It was
Oh
good.
God.
It was
Yeah.
really good. It was you can mean I think that he had that sort of chemistry with everybody though. Everyone he interacted with, he was there was yeah there was something there. It was really really nice to see.
Very generous. Very generous performer and like really exciting to sort of work alongside. Yeah, absolutely.
It was really good. Pete's asked, or GM Nightmare, Pete said, "What has been your most what the fuck am I doing moment, and your most this is amazing, nailed it moment from filming so far?"
Um, such a good question. This is such okay. I have a few answers if I may.
Go for
The
it.
one that stands out in my mind just because it's going to be really unexpected. In season 2, episode 4, which is called Retcon, which is the episode where we all have different recollections of how the session went, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of I think it was written to be almost a bit of a standalone, so you could show it at festivals or whatever,
Mm.
because it tells us everything we need to know in one,
Yeah.
and it's got a lot of different styles and jokes and things. In that episode, we eventually everything goes off the rails when Will is talking about his flashback, where it's like it's a weird CSI Western all of a sudden. It's like some sort of weird punk uh, fantasy. I don't know what is going on in his head. He has a gun. I don't know. Like, well, anyway,
Oh yeah, yeah.
um,
It's very
Julian.
Leon.
Like, so first of all, the filming of that, I wanted to say earlier when you asked me about favorite filming moments,
Mm.
we had to really quickly move. Actually, we were going to film that outside where we filmed all of the rest of them, but it was raining. So we
Mm.
quickly got into cover in this old, half abandoned garage of tires and stuff. And we're like, well, we'll shoot it here. Perfect, you know? And having to figure that out on the fly was really fun. In that scene,
Mm.
Julian had the brilliant idea in post of um, dubbing over things like the gunshots with my voice. If you go back and watch it again, when I shoot the gun,
Mm.
there's somebody, me, going boom, bang, bang, boom, 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 to like as the sound effects of the gun.
Right.
And speaking of things that I nailed, one take in the booth, it was I was so happy with. Well, it may not have been one take, but it was just such a weird thing to sort of say, like, yeah, I did that really well, but I did. It was amazing. um, it was a lot of fun. What the f am I doing? That's also a good question. I feel like I'm gonna probably a fight scene because we rehearsed, we choreographed, we
Yeah.
rehearsed with our choreographer Sean Beichu quite a bit, but I imagine one of those was probably pretty tough to get down. Um,
Mm.
I'm gonna come back to that if you don't mind.
Yeah. No worries. Because
I'm gonna have a good one for you.
the combat scenes were quite interesting because if you ever film a proper LARP fight, it they look wank. They are awful. They are the worst things in the world. You can't film a good LARP. There is no such thing as a good filmed proper LARP
Mhm.
fight
But
because
Yeah.
that's foam latex, and you hit people with that, and it's just literally two people just going bang, 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 bang,
Bang,
and
bang,
stuff
bang,
like
bang.
that. So it was really nice with the thing that I mean, the pod shots are a proper thing, and they happen a lot. They seem to happen to me a lot anyway. I tell this one story of in a battle where I'm running across to like this copse. There's loads of archers in there, and one arrow just comes along, and hits me straight in the balls, and I'm straight down. I'm in agony. I'm not wearing a cup or anything, so I was in a lot of pain. And the ref comes over, sort of like people are avoiding me and stuff like that, and they sort of help me back up, and it's like okay. I go running towards them again, and the same thing happens again. I get shot three times,
Hmm.
and then it's yeah, and it just got to the point where the ref sort of grabs me and sort of helps me up. Is like, yeah, don't charge them anymore. Just go in that direction now, please, and stuff like that. Oh, yeah, it was really, really bad. So I was just like, well, it's a good thing I've already got a kid, isn't it? It's it's so it was
Always use protection, folks. That's This goes like for everything.
in
Okay,
more
just,
ways than
just one
one.
thing I want to put out there.
More ways than one. So yeah. The quote: "LARP fights look wank." Steve,
They
2020.
do. I don't disagree.
It's they do. They look terrible when they're
They
filmed.
feel exciting though, right? And I think that was
Mm.
the intention. Is like we wanted to capture. I mean, I'm not one of the producers or anything, but like we wanted to capture the
Mm.
feeling of what it feels like to
Yeah.
be in a fight in a
Well,
LARP, right?
this was the thing. It was seeing them. It was a proper choreographed fight where they're reacting to these things happening like that, but they're doing things that you couldn't do with a real weapon. So it was mixing. You had the best of both worlds there in one fell swoop, and it was really interesting to see. And I thought it was done really really well. I'm not just saying that because you'd hear. Because I mean, if it looked terrible, I would. I think you've got the impression that I would definitely say if things look shit. So it was it looked really really good, and it was really nice to see a LARP fight look good for a
Yeah.
change. So I mean, there's things like with like a spear and stuff like that where you with the rod and stuff like that where people being stabbed with it and stuff like that. So you can't do those in LARP in a
Right.
LARP because it's not safe to do it. But he was
Right.
doing it in this, and it looked really really good. So it was yeah, kudos to the fight choreographer on that front because that was fantastic to see.
There were definitely conversations which again I kind of wasn't like I heard, I don't know if I was a part of them, where there was a discussion of like, well, in yeah, like you say, right, in a LARP you can't stab somebody with a weapon. Like
Mm.
you can't do anything that's going to actually sort of actively endanger somebody. But at the same time, if you want it to be dramatic, I'm thinking specifically of two moments where people get pretty brutalized in Larps the series, like in the show,
Mm.
by something that you one wouldn't do, but two probably couldn't do. I mean, there's a few, but like I'm thinking specifically when Corellia is fighting the Executioner.
Yeah,
She at one point she like grabs one of his daggers and she shanks him a few times. It's great.
yeah,
And in episode 10, spoilers if anyone hasn't. No, we're good. Never mind. But
yeah, yeah.
uh, oh god, um, her name is escaping me here, but Mara Lazarus plays the villain on the show, Claudia,
Yes, yeah.
the villain, and she ends up with that hooked hammer and just
Mm.
like bam, crush it, caves in John's chest at one point.
Mm.
Incredible.
Yeah,
If it were a real weapon, his ribs would be
yeah,
just a whole thing there.
yeah. Gone, gone. It
It's
was
and that's what I mean is like you have to take some liberties because
yeah.
you're not if someone's on the ground in a LARP, you're not going to be like, hey, give me your hammer for a sec. Like here, this will be really cool.
No,
um,
it
right?
probably does happen, but
Yeah. Oh, sure. Probably.
but that
Just if I can go back to something
yeah, go
somebody
for it.
asked earlier about like a WTF moment. There were a number of moments throughout filming of season two specifically where we were if not encouraged to improvise, then at least we had done a few sort of takes of safety takes with the text as was, and then
Yeah,
we did a few more where we could bring a bit more flavor to what we wanted to do, which sometimes works, and sometimes Julian just goes, "Okay, I got it," and then doesn't use it because it was terrible. We've had that conversation a few times, but there were a number of moments where we were just kind of improvising stuff, and I consider myself to be an improviser and to be someone who is like always ready to listen and be on and play.
Yeah.
But those moments were actually the ones where I'm just sitting there in the scene, and part of my brain is going, well, Will doesn't really think, so what am I doing?
Yeah.
Part of my brain is going, so I'm thinking specifically of season 2, episode 1. There's some cutaways where Jonathan Silver and Liz are talking about Nell Zool's like spectral dogs and his upgrade path, and like
Yeah.
that's fully improvised.
Yes.
And my silence in that scene is just me listening to them and thinking to myself, like, how ridiculous is this right now? I
Yeah.
don't have anything to say in that scene. It's great. Oh, it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. You've got a problem with the dogs? No, I don't have a problem with the dogs.
No problem with the dogs. I always, I didn't say anything more, but I feel like that line carries the weight that it needs to carry.
It was good. It was really, really good. So, I mean, how did, because obviously Amber joined the series quite late, didn't she, for this and that. So, how did she find, or how did everyone find, with all of a sudden there's someone else joining the group and stuff like that? Did everyone sort of like click immediately again? Because it's nice to see the banter and the connection that everybody obviously had. So
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly, yeah. I think the experience of filming the first season over 11 days, all together, most of us getting sick during that, all of these things, um, helped us bond as a crew and as a cast. And then
yeah,
in season 2, yeah, of course, we had Amber joining the lead cast, but we had additional additional actors, much larger crew in general,
yeah,
which was really cool. Excuse me. Um, I mean, first of all, like it was really great to work with her. It is always a bit strange, kind of having an established dynamic and then bringing someone new into that. I think the brilliance of the show is that we don't just start going, oh well, there's another player now, right? Like we meet them and we understand that they're new to the game.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
I really enjoyed it because, when we were kind of looking at the script and like, John always kind of solicits feedback from the actors as to their roles and so on. He and I had a conversation about, okay, well, Will and Kat don't really have any sort of connection or relationship. They're not.
No.
She's not here for him. They don't. They're not romantically involved or whatever.
Mm.
What's their relationship going to be like? And I'm not sure where it came about or who kind of suggested what, but we ended up coming down on the idea of like, well, they could both be bros.
Yeah,
Why not? Kat seems ready to play, but she understands that this is the chill guy. He takes things pretty easily. So they're just both like, yeah, let's get some food, maybe hang out for a bit. We don't need to run around in the forest all the time.
yeah, yeah. She's very. I do like that character as well. So I think my favorite moment of hers was asking Evan to teach her how to fight.
Oh,
And she's like constantly trying to hit it, and it's just like not working. And she picks up everything and just launches it. Like there we go, hit you. It was like, yeah,
I
that was a nice scene. I like that one a lot.
I only know a few engineers, but I can say with absolute confidence that the engineer's solution to the problem is always like pick up stuff, throw stuff at problem, see if problem is fixed.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Ex- yeah, just very really good. It's so we've been talking a lot about like your like favorite moments and things like that. So season two, obviously, no spoilers, ended how it ended, and season three, you've got a nice lead there into season
I'd say
three,
so.
haven't you? So,
Mm.
um, where would you like season three to? What sort of direction would you like it to go?
For me, the most sort of of course, there's so much to love, and I'm a huge fan of like the cyberpunk aesthetic that
Mm.
is teased at the end of the second season
Mm.
and so on. Oh, sorry, I probably wasn't supposed to say that. No, it's fine. It's out there in the world. It's fine. Um, but so there's that element. But like from my perspective, and I think you said this earlier, but Will's arc, going from someone who only plays because that's what his friends do and he doesn't really have other friends, so I guess
Yeah.
he'll do it, moving to eventually someone who is not just invested in individual moments in the game, but invested in the game, his character's involvement in it, his emotional investment in it grows quite a bit, and then right, that's the
Yeah.
end of it.
Yeah.
And so I think what I'm really intrigued to see and to play with is, does Will continue from that point? Does he
Mm.
backslide a little bit? Like, is his default state someone who is just kind of casual about playing,
Yeah.
and not particularly doesn't particularly care about the right thing to do in the game, right? Or has he found a new kind of respect for uh, the the emotional involvement and investment in the game? I'm
Mm.
hoping that it's a bit more in that direction, so that we can kind of continue to see that growth,
Mm.
um, and that weirdly it will kind of then reflect back on his own life, because
Yeah.
this at the core, this is a show about a group of friends
Mm.
who LARP and their lives in the game and outside of the game and how those interact, right?
Yeah.
And we don't see a lot of Will's life outside of the game. I think
No.
the big thing about his life outside of the game, I mean, this is his job at the cafe, but also his relationship with Brittany, which, uh, which takes up, I think, a lot of the space around his character, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really intrigued to see more of how this growth, if it is growth, reflects back on his life out of the game.
Yeah. It's I like all of the characters' arcs. I
Mhm.
think I see. I will say this. Because I said this to John and Liz as well. I see a lot of myself in Will. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh dear. And it was very nice to get because that's how I started. So all those years ago, when people said to me, "Oh, come LARPing with us," I did it, and I went once. I hated it, and I didn't go back for years.
Oh,
And then and it was just like, yeah, I was there to fight and drink. That was my LARP
nice.
experience. So it still is in a way, but it's evolved a bit more.
Just a
So
bit more, yeah.
I have that sort I had it was that sort of impact. So I think having Will grow to be to go to love the game, which is where you saw it at the end. I think that's my opinion on it anyway. And then having going, yeah, there's this game's it's all starting up again. We're gonna do Shadowrun sort of thing, and yeah, let's do this. And having Will as the main push behind it could be quite an interesting art. But I hope the, the sarcasm never leaves. I hope the dickishness of Will with towards everyone else never goes,
It's
because
way too core to his identity. Like, he's not a
yeah,
bad person.
no,
I know he is a dick to a lot of people, and like both deliberately and not so deliberately. But like,
mm,
I, I think at his core, he's not cruel or anything, right? Like,
no,
he's not a terrible person.
no, definitely not.
But I can't see a version of him without. Well, I did get actually in season 2, episode 4, with the retcon with the different versions of that
Mm,
like game. I did get a chance to play slightly different versions of Will, which we all did, right? In those different characters' perspectives on us. I, but none of them feel right, obviously, because they're not that character,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Pete's asked the question: if you didn't play Will, it kind of leads on perfectly from what you just said. If you didn't play Will and could insert any other character into the series, what sort of archetype would you like to sink your teeth into?
So, I'll just to reiterate something I said at the beginning of the stream because I think it kind of it's
Yeah,
part one of my answer here, really quick. I originally auditioned for Arthur because, as a role player, one, I love sort of like sneaky rogue types,
yeah,
but two, I also tend to invest myself pretty heavily in my characters rather than Will, who is the opposite of that.
mm,
But I think if I had to put a character into the series, I'd love to see um, a, a, a tactician, so someone
mm.
really who really wants to plan out every encounter and then
Yes.
just get screwed at every turn because Will doesn't want to go along with it.
No.
Noctis doesn't, like nobody wants to go along with his plan, but he's trying so hard. He's like, guys, we can go around. We can go up the ladder over there, and they're all like, no, no, charge through the choke. Um,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
See, I like. I was hoping to get the. I was hoping that I'd see. It's one of the things I said to Liz was that I really liked her character for the. Cause she's a psychopath. That character. It's amazing. It's
Great.
it's so good. I love the scene with her because I tend to go, excuse me, towards the more barbarian sort of characters. That's the sort of,
Sure.
that's my sort of character definition with most things that I play.
Mhm.
And seeing her character at like first time there, and it's like, yeah, we'll do this. Oh, here's some money. Get everybody inside. We'll burn the place down with them in it. It's like, and
What?
it's like John's reaction of, and there goes my plot. It's like excellent. I can get behind that. I really really like that. And then
Yep.
that laugh, that laugh when she's hugging the king after setting him. Yeah, it's like, holy shit.
Yep.
Brilliant.
And that's again like just such a great character concept
Mm,
brought to life in such an exciting way. Like people people role play and people LARP to do something that
mm.
they want to do, right? Whether that's something far from them or not far from. Look, I'm not calling you a barbarian. I'm just saying something far from you or not far from you, right?
Yeah, yeah, you wouldn't be too
Uh,
far from the point, to be honest. It's yeah, it's a gift.
it's a gift. What can I say? It, yeah, like people role play to do those things that they
Yeah.
generally don't get to do, and someone's idea of a fantasy is a crusading knight like slash paladin who actually serves a horrific demon lord that wants to just burn everything. Like that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's great. I'm a fan. I'm
yeah,
a fan.
definitely, definitely. So with so if season three is moving away from that sort of fantasy sort of
Mm.
edge and it's moving off into the more cyberpunk sort of area, quite good, obviously, with Cyberpunk, that game coming out later in the year. So that's good. That's going
That
to work
well,
well.
nice.
It's going to work well. There. Did you do some work on that?
No, I did not. I desperately wish I had, but
Because
we're very lucky here in Montreal to have a number of video game studios, like
mm,
large and subsidiaries of
yeah,
major studios from abroad as well. But CD Projekt Red, I think, works mostly out of Poland and then
yeah.
probably LA for some of their voice talent, I imagine.
Yeah, because you do a lot of voice acting on the side as well. Well, as a well, say on the
Yeah,
side,
well,
that's
yeah.
it's your job, isn't it, as an actor?
Well,
So
that's yeah. I mean, I have other work right now because
mm,
it's I don't make my full living as a voice actor. Not like some people. Jonathan Silver. I don't, anyway, he's
yeah,
a good kid. He's a good kid. But yeah, I'm very lucky to have lots of different kinds of voice work
mm,
that we do here in Montreal and have a chance to dip my toe into all sorts of things there.
yeah. So, what's been your favourite bit of voice work that you've done?
Uh, I have a gut check answer, and I'm just making sure I haven't forgotten anything else. I don't think so, so I'm going to go with it. I got to voice. Oh, yeah. See, I did forget something else. See, amazing. Okay, I got to voice. I was like, I was going to say something, and I was like, no, no, this is much better. I got to voice a few NPCs in the Outer Worlds,
Mm,
or Outer Worlds, sorry.
mm.
Uh,
Yeah,
which again was wonderful experience. Really fun writing, which you don't see all the time in open world RPGs.
Yeah.
And they asked me, and specifically, like, I have a relatively, I feel like I have a relatively kind of not posh voice, but you know what I mean. Like it's a relatively well-spoken voice.
Yeah.
Uh, so a lot of the characters I was being asked to voice for that game were like, spies or like kindly people on the side. But I also got to voice a character that you meet quite early on, who is a mohawked flamethrower wielding pirate. Basically, he's taken over part of a space station.
Yeah.
And he was just that was such a wild experience to get to do that. It was really cool.
Excellent. Excellent.
Captain McRed, who I think you actually, yeah, because he's on the second world you visit, so you pretty much everybody encounters him at some point. So that's
I've played through most of the game. I tend to find that when I play games, I'll get like 80% of the way through and then I'll stop for
it's
some
a
reason.
lot, yeah.
Something else has come along, and I was like, I want to play that instead. So
that's it, right?
yeah, just for doing that. I think it's Crusader Kings at the moment, and trying to get the.
Oh boy! Oh, I like that.
Yeah, trying to go for the most inbred character ever. So at the moment, it's a goal.
You too.
So yeah, it's quite fun. I do enjoy those sorts of games. So I think if season 3 happens, and oh no, this was the question I asked Liz and John, and I liked it. If budget, if there was no limit, if you had major studios putting everything forward for you,
okay,
what would you like to see in season 3?
Okay. Hang on, let me get my parchment here. Just like
excellent.
a long a couple of things, I guess. One, we hinted at some really cool costume possibilities to do, LEDs. Like I think the character design of people in things like the Android Netrunner universe, Shadowrun, and Cyberpunk 2077, like the look of those characters is so cool. To be able to wear, like a spiky leather jacket with like LED highlights and stuff would be awesome. More extreme answers, I would love to do a fight scene where I get to leap off something really tall, whether that's because I'm knocked off something or because I leap down from a high box to smash somebody in the face. That'd be really cool. And that's only really doable with equipment and stunt people, unless you only want one take. So
yeah, interesting. It will look really good. It will look good. You won't see it, but it will look really good when you do it.
We've got everything else for Scott, right? Yeah, this is the last thing. Okay, go for it. It's and also because like hacking is such a a trope in those universes. Yeah. I'd love to, again, if budget was not a constraining factor, I'd love to see what a half real, half digital version of the game looks like. You know what I mean? Our imagining of our digital avatars in some sort of hacked world or whatever. That's really good.
Yeah. As Peter's just said, okay, guys, we have one take and 300 tons of TNT. Let's do it.
The beginning of Tropic Thunder, or very early on in the film in Tropic Thunder, the guy controlling the dynamite, he thinks the director's giving them signal. He's like, okay, here we go, and they're not filming, so it's just this explosion. Not even
huge explosion. I haven't seen that film in a long time. Oh dear.
I think there's some troublesome parts now, but it's certainly, like, I remember loving it the 8 or 9 times I saw it. I really loved it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff like that now, though, isn't there? It's
true.
Yeah, which you look back on and you think, how did you get away with this?
It's a crazy time in history.
It really was. It really was. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr. He did well. He did well out of it. So, oh dear. So, everything is done then at the moment for 1 and 2. That's all. That's established history. That's established plot. Season 3 is very much in the. It might happen. It might not happen. We don't know. At the moment, is it a definite?
Well,
Go on. No, go on.
no, I was just going to say, well, I mean, of course, I should take this opportunity to mention to people that if you aren't already aware, which I imagine if you're watching this stream you are, but if you're not, we're only going to be able to accomplish a third season with the help of the community through a crowdfund campaign that we'll be launching, hopefully in the near future. We're currently available to be watched on the Fantasy Network, which is a online service, streaming service,
Yeah.
where you can also sign up to be part of the pre-fund list. So it's not asking you for any money, but it's the people who are committed to donating when that goes live.
Yeah.
And by adding names to that list, we can get a really good sense of whether we can accomplish what we want to accomplish with the series. Because it's not, as I know, making stuff like this ain't cheap, and making it well isn't cheap either. Like, it's kind of the point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much because it would be nice to pay John to do the writing and things like that as well, because he's very good at what he does.
Yes, and so many people put in time, and like a lot of everybody was compensated to one degree or another, but so many people had to put in so many additional hours to get things done, to make it a reality, because it's a labor, like, we use the term a lot, but like it's a labor of love, right?
Yeah.
In the way that, excuse me, LARPing also is something that people love to do and will donate their time and their effort and their money to, like, doing something exciting with other people. It's the same here.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Getting steel armor is expensive. So.
No, really?
Yeah. It's yeah. I've actually got mine down here.
Whoa! Hello.
Oh. Yeah. This is my armor here.
Woohoo!
It's a definite labor of love. It really, really is on that front.
Mine wearing something like that either. That sounds pretty cool too.
It's quite heavy. We've been we're trying to do push-ups in it at the moment. We've got a bit of a fitness thing going on in the community at the moment, so it's been quite nice.
Yeah, I saw that, and so first of all, like, congrats, because I think that's crazy, but also just given where I'm at with my fitness, like, push-ups, sure. Push-ups with metal on my body, I don't know.
Yeah, it is insane, but we're doing well. Everyone's doing well in the exercise and stuff like that. So Peter says his brigandine was £400. So but put a breastplate and back, and it's like £1,000. So yeah, £1,000 for that. So, but
so much of our costuming for season 2 was donated by these Artisans d'Azur, and like various
Epic Armory, I think. Is it Epic Armory?
Epic Armory, yeah. Thank you. That's the thing that's at the credits of every episode of the show, Scott.
Yeah. I got my braces from them, so it's difficult
awesome.
to. Yeah, so they make some really good stuff. They really do.
Yeah, for sure.
So how much of all your LARP stuff did you keep then? How much of all of that stuff have you still got?
Pretty much my entire costume is on a mannequin in one of our producers' apartments, Benjamin Warner, who lives actually just around the corner from me.
Excellent.
So anytime I want, I can go and put on a mélange of Astra and Will armor, and because I think he has most of those things all together. Yeah. I think so I'm pretty sure I don't have any of it. I think it was maybe deemed that it was easier for them to hang on. I don't know what the deal with that was. Wait a second, why don't I have my own armor?
I was going to say, all I hear there is untrustworthy.
But it's true.
It's great fun. So how did you find using a bow, though? Did you enjoy doing that?
I really loved it, actually. Yeah, I will, as anybody who watches the series can attest, I am not a particularly good archer. I know I make a lot of the shots I have to make. That's either film trickery or the fact that I'm quite close to the things I need to hit.
Yeah.
Um, I have had a chance to, you know, go to archery ranges with, arrows that are not foam tipped as well.
Yeah.
Uh, I just really like, um, and it's not about not wanting to be in the fray on the battlefield or anything. I just really like, for archery in particular, for me, it's like you and the bow and what you're trying to accomplish. Like the goal is very
Yeah.
clear, and you can improve. Um, I had a chance. Liz actually did a vlog series for a company here in town that does archery and axe throwing and a whole bunch of stuff. And she went and did a vlog series for them where she learned archery, basically from zero to where she got, And I had a chance to go a few times as well, uh,
Nice.
as well as in the show. I
Mm.
mean, I will say also like the poundage, like
Yeah.
the weight on the
Yeah.
bowstring that I was using is like child strength. It's very it's very low, um, so that you can really get like dramatic looking
Pod shots.
shots. Yeah, yeah, cock shots exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
that's the technical term.
Yeah. I believe that's also the medical term as well. Um, it's yeah. Everything about the series is really really good, and I don't think I've come across anybody who has said that they haven't enjoyed it, because we always compare anything like we were talking about beforehand. So like role models and all that sort of crap, and it's like I can't watch those sorts of things because it's a hobby that is the great thing about I think all role play, tabletop, everything like that. It's a really positive thing. It helps a lot of people. So I know a lot of people like with anxiety and things like that, and it helps mental health so much. Because I mean, I have anxiety myself. I don't get embarrassed about it or anything like that. It's if I'm having a moment, I'll just wander off and sort myself out.
Yeah,
It's so, but doing able to do this sort of thing, role play, everything like that, is such a good thing, and it is such a positive impact on people's lives. So actually seeing, so we see like Knights of was it Badassery and
yeah,
um, role models, grown ups, and stuff like that, where they do it all and they just take the piss. It's a bit
yeah,
of a downer, but then you see what everyone has done with this series. It's a fantastic thing, and it's so nice to see the positive side of it. And I haven't seen anyone say, "Well, it's just negative. It's just taking the piss," and stuff
yeah.
like that. It's nice to see the positives as well. So I think a lot of people are grateful to to that side of it as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the real like I mean, there's a lot of first of all, thank you, and this is also a general thank you to everybody in the chat who has watched and has enjoyed the show because it's really cool. Like as a group of friends and actors, filmmakers, writers, etc., we would have made something, right? Like I think as people who create, and
Yeah,
I think you would know this as well. Like as people who create, you're going to create something. The the real victory of the show, and I'm so happy about this. Like it really, makes me happy in my heart. Is that the story that they wanted to tell? One of the sort of storytelling elements is using a game
mm.
in the show to be able to say, okay, here's one version of the character, here's another version of the character, right? Like
Yeah,
it's a storytelling device, but it's also, as you said, and it's true, it's a representation of LARPing that isn't stupid. Sorry, it's not a representation of LARPing that makes fun of the people who do the hobby.
yeah,
And I think the real victory of the show is being able to tell a cool story while simultaneously elevating a community of people. Most hobbies, like nerdy or no, there's people who are passionate about them
yeah,
and they get to elevate their hobbies. Um, I understand you're not necessarily like a fan of D&D. Like I'm not either, although I play a lot of tabletop role-playing games
mm.
and something like Critical Role. has been really huge for elevating. I mean, it's already been elevated, but like the game has been elevated again in people's eyes because there's cool people playing, and there's like, cool stories about LARPing, and like, yeah, it just makes me very happy to know that we did something because it was a great story to tell and because we wanted to, but that connected with so many people at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of LARPers are happy that there's something positive out there about their hobby, which is really, really
Yeah.
good. So it's, I mean, I've been trying to watch, I caught one episode of the tabletop game. I can't even remember what it was called now. Where you're all clones.
Oh, well, so we did Paranoia as a one shot. Is
Yes.
that
Yeah.
maybe it? Yeah.
Yeah. I caught, I caught a lot of that, and that was great fun. That looked like a lot of fun as well. So I
That
mean, when it comes, you mentioned Critical Role and stuff like that, and so it's like what they do for D&D. I've also got a friend, Mark Humes, who does a world that he created for D&D, Erois, and it's all like a lot of player stuff that he's made himself, and it's what he
mhm.
does is fantastic. So there's a lot of stuff like that, but then you get like the Vampire, the Masquerade side of it with
Yeah.
Jason Carl, with what he's doing with the LA by Night, and I love the guy, B. Dave Walters.
Hmm.
Oh my god, yeah, that guy's amazing. So it's just people like that, and so what you're doing as well, it's a really, it's it's, it's just positivity, is it? Having all of you, the way you all tell stories and stuff like that, and I think that's the thing that in this day and age, especially this year, because let's face it, this year's fucked.
Yeah, agreed.
It's
I don't disagree with that assessment.
so as Peter said, happy in the heart, not something you hear much in 2020.
I've I've been if I may be real for a quick second here, like
Yeah, go for it.
I've been confronting my own kind of privilege a lot in this past year. Like I'm very privileged to be able to support myself and to be an artist and to be safe in what I do and all sorts of things like that.
Yeah.
But something that I really truly believe and it has kind of guided me, and I think it's been really nice of late, like hope and optimism and positivity are infectious. Whether or
Oh yeah.
not if someone is down or whatever, I'm not saying you have to just go up and pinch their cheeks and whatever. It's not gonna. But it, in a societal context, I mean, like if we all despair, nothing happens,
No.
right? But if people are optimistic and positive about their hobbies, their loves, the things that they want to do, justice, whatever,
Mm.
then that's infectious and it gets other people excited too. I really believe that. And meeting people who love the show has been, don't tell people on the show this, please, but like meeting people who love the show has been probably a better experience even than making the show, which was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. It's. I mean, it's like when I do this, I don't. One of my big things is that I don't like negativity. I don't want people bashing or anything like that on
Hmm.
and around anything to do with this channel. I don't like it and I don't want it. I want to keep everything as positive as I can. If people are doing anything, I want to pick them up. If someone's
Yeah.
down, I want to pick them up. I want to build as many people up as I can because this world's shit at the moment. So it's like yeah. So it's just like having something and then you turn around to people and go, yeah, but you did that and that was amazing. And that was so
Yeah.
much fun. And it's like you shooting someone in the balls made me
Hmm.
watch an entire show. I was sold from that moment on. So
The
it's
power of the cock shot.
exactly,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah, someone needs to make a T-shirt out of that.
I actually, for a long time, we were, well, we were, I mean, we have some merchandise, but like for a long time there was talk of, like, oh, should we get personalized shirts? And I was dead set on, I dot 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 on the back, shoot him in the dick. That was gonna be mine for sure,
Yeah,
for sure, for
yeah.
sure.
I shot a man in the dick.
What a weird thing to say to a stranger.
It was
Absolutely
brilliant.
incredible.
It was so good.
It's a great scene. That's very funny.
Oh dear.
Good
It's
times.
Yeah, I like. I was watching Julian's stream, and he was doing the thing, and I kept on saying to him, "I was like, I want your T-shirt." That he was wearing because he had the LARPs the series T-shirt on, and it had the
Hmm.
logo and the thing on the back as well. And I kept on saying to
Oh,
him, "I want that." He's like, I kept on. It was just I wouldn't let it go. It's like, yeah, we haven't got any left. It's like, okay, well, give me yours. And he was just like, no.
no, no,
It's like,
no.
yeah, I want it. It's like I want it. I'll do a trade. You can have some of my merch. I will have that because it was a really really nice thing. It was a really nice top. But people saying,
Mhm.
oh, you can't even. Yeah, you're not doing. There's none left or anything like that. So it is a shame. It is a shame.
It is. I think the hope again is that if the momentum is such that we're able to kind of launch a crowdfunding campaign that is doing well, I imagine there'll be a revisiting of the question of merch, but like not, necessarily as perks, but just, for sale and so on. Because yeah, people look, people like clothes, people wear clothes, people like to wear clothes that have things on them that they like.
Yeah,
It's revolutionary, I know.
yeah. I am fond of getting dressed. I must admit.
Wow, yeah, me too.
Sometimes not. And yeah, the police get called. It's a whole thing. It's just bad. So we have an award in my reenactment household for most accidental nut shot of the year.
I'm now imagining like, hey guys, watch this, and it ricochets off three walls and goes around a corner, and you just hear like my balls from down the hall. That's what I'm
That
imagining for most accidental.
that'd be brilliant. I'd love that. I'd love that. So yeah, so everyone who's watching, and so whether it's on the stream or on YouTube or anything like that, there will be a link on the video. One time I accidentally clotheslined a dude with a claymore.
Isn't that decapitation? Close with the claymore, they're
Yeah,
decapitated, right?
yeah, that's and yeah, and claymores are not small. Bloody
No,
hell,
no, famously, yeah,
I do love a good claymore.
they're sweet. I
Yeah,
agree.
really, really nice.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was yeah, so everybody who's watching and that I think a majority of people in my community anyway, they've signed up for they've put their emails down and things like that. So I've realised I've actually got two email addresses, so I should probably go and sign up twice to be honest.
Well,
Um,
get those numbers up, yeah.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's anything like that. So if you are watching, there will be a link underneath the video on YouTube to go and just click on that and go and sign up. Make email addresses. Go and sign up. Don't.
Well, I mean,
Well,
we do want a relatively accurate
yeah. Don't.
description, I think.
Yeah. Don't do what I said. That's a dumb idea. Um, but yeah, definitely go and sign up though because I think it's gonna be great. We need a season 3.
We'd love to do one. I mean, honestly, I certainly would. I know I was joking a lot last time about like my unused calendar photos from LARPs, but that was a joke.
I'd
Those
forgotten about that.
it's too much,
Oh,
eh?
we had we've got Rachel. She does a graphic designer as her job,
Hmm.
and she has offered to take photos of people and make them into a calendar. That could be
Hello.
yeah. That
If
could
you're watching, Rachel.
yes. Oh no, guaranteed. She's already done it. And she's looked at that
Oh
and
boy. Okay. All
yeah.
right. Well, here we go.
She would have already done something because yeah, that's she's very very talented at it. So, but yeah, we need a season 3. I really really I'm a firm believer in it.
I'd love to do one, and honestly, like, I'm so happy with like, of course, there's room to do more, and there's room to tell more cool stories for sure. But like, we gave everything we had for those first two seasons, and I'm so happy that they exist and that they're out there and that they've inspired so many people.
Mm,
Like, and sorry, inspired, had like given fun times to so many people. But if there's a chance to do more, I want to take it for sure. I'm happy to,
yeah.
get in on that
Uh,
myself.
Eva has said to call on Dagmar. She's a friend of mine. That's her LARP. That's her LARP character's name. Dagmar of the Lewd Parchments.
Okay.
The player's name's Susan, and she is an incredible artist. And
Oh,
when
awesome.
Probably shouldn't, but I'll see if I can
Oh.
show you the.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Yeah, so there we go.
Oh my
I don't
god,
know if
behind the scenes!
there you go. If you can
Whoa!
that is, yeah, that's what she drew. That's
Beautiful.
it's amazing. It really is incredible. So that's my other half's character.
Really
So
nice.
like,
Really
yeah,
cool stuff.
yeah, it is incredible. So I don't get stuff like that. I get yeah, I don't get anything like that. It's
I just
so
get steel plates. What? No, I'm just kidding. Those
yeah,
are awesome too, obviously.
but yeah. So as I was joking around with Liz and John, I said that get season 3. I'll do like a charity stream to raise money for it and stuff like that. I want to be in it though, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, come on down. We'll talk to the union and figure that out. I don't know how that works. I'm not representative. I do not represent my union in any way other than being a member. I want to make that clear.
Yeah, I'm not even. Yeah, I think the unions that we have over here are a bit different to it's an actors union, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just being facetious. Like, it would be really cool to. I mean, we were able to have some extra. That was the other thing. Season 1. Go back and watch it. There's no extras. There's like 2 people in one scene, and those are our production assistants. They were like, "Go stand over there. We won't see your face. It's fine." Like, there's nobody else in the show. We just haven't seen anyone. And then in season 2, we were able to have people to make the world feel inhabited. It's weird. People make the world feel inhabited. It's wild.
It's funny that.
So season 3, you can look forward to more people. That's what I have to say about that.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, we have a 50-kilo cart. I feel like that'll be okay, right?
Yeah, I think I bench more than that. So yeah, not too, but still, it's yeah. So I'd say to everybody watching and stuff like that, make sure you go put your email down, sign up for everything, and just go if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's
tell your friends. We've been talking a lot about how people who sit down and watch it usually enjoy it, and like not even people who LARP. Like I know a lot of people who it's not their bag, but they watched some and appreciated the storytelling and the craftsmanship and the humor of the show, and I think there's something in it for pretty much everybody except the most dour of people. That's a joke as well.
Yeah, but they're all bastards, and we don't really care if they don't. We don't care about them. So
right, no, we definitely know.
But yeah, so everybody go watch it, and there's the link in the chat there. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go and watch it. I have been saying a lot of times, people go and watch it because it is great, and and I'm not even bullshitting people either. It is good. It's definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch. So, thank you so much for coming on, Scott.
Oh, it's my pleasure. If I may do a little bit of shameless promotion as well, mine, just as because I also do things other than LARPs, and I just want to mention, if anybody is curious, some of the emotes I used earlier and so on, like I'm a member of other Twitch communities. On Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, which is probably pretty late for some of y'all's, we are running a Star Wars Edge of the Empire role-playing game on twitch.tv/RPG Clinic, and in about 30 minutes time, I'm going to be streaming twitch.tv/Biff the Boss. I'm going to be playing Arkham Horror the card game because I love it, and that's my life. I don't know.
Yeah, me and Helen have been playing that.
Oh, wow! We should have talked about it. But anyway, fine. Good game.
Really, really good game. Yeah, we've done the first chapter of it, and yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, I won't say anything about the rest, but enjoy.
Yeah. No, it is. We do need to carry on with it. It's been a while since we played it, but yeah, we do. Yeah, do love that. So I'll put the links to your channels and stuff like that it'll be underneath the YouTube video and stuff like that. To be honest, feel free. I've got a channel in the Discord as well, mutual advertising and stuff like that. So yeah, feel free to check your channel, put everything in there as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to get to know the community a little bit first, and then I probably will.
They are, yeah. We're all a massive bunch of nerds over here. It's great. They are the best community. I have to say, so positive. Everyone's really good. So,
Cool.
but
Nice.
yeah. So thank you so much for, as Carolyn said, we're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all right. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and yeah, I would love to do some more work with everyone over there as well because it's been so much fun, and you are all such decent people as well. It takes a lot for me to
Thank.
say something nice about something like that as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I can tell.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It's
I've
yeah,
clenched
thank you for
so
having me
hard.
on. It's been really cool.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
clenched so hard saying something nice. It's I'm gonna have to go and change my trousers. um, but thank you so much. I can't say it enough. I really appreciate it, and yeah,
No,
and
thank you.
getting Julian on in the future as well
That'll
would
be
be an interesting one, and I'm sure he can dish the dirt as well. He seemed to
fun.
have
Yeah.
he had a
Ask
lot
him
of stories.
Yeah, ask him what it was like working with me. That should be good for a couple of hours, I imagine.
Yeah,
Just
it was really good, and I'll contact the others as well on to see what they fancy, see how quickly it takes for the restraining orders to get thrown my
oh,
direction. So
yikes.
yeah, oh yeah. So but still, so and Uruguayan has just turned up. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
So yeah, so
Uh,
we're just finishing it there. Sorry.
that's fine. No, it wasn't on the VOD, Aragorn. You know, well,
Yeah,
you know me anyway. It's
yeah,
fine.
and yes, of course, yeah, they're in the other from the other side. So my timing is always great. So we'll call it there, and this will all go up onto YouTube and everything. So thank you so much. Thanks everyone for
Thank
coming along
you.
into chat. Lots of good questions there as well, and hardly
Mhm.
anything massively LARP related either. So yeah, we've done well, I
There you go.
think. Yeah, it's great. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye.